When I first started out as a self-published author, I decided I would take the do-it-yourself route, spending the least amount of money possible and preferring to make a time investment rather than a financial one whenever I could. Having read numerous books and taken countless online courses on writing, editing, self-publishing and marketing, I gradually learned from the experts in the self-publishing community, while wisely avoiding those companies that offered their so-called solutions to authors. I soon discovered that there were areas where you do have to spend some of your hard-earned cash if you are serious about turning your love of writing into an actual career. After all, self-publishing is a business, and just like any other business, you will need to invest both time and money if you are going to be successful. Indeed, I believe there are 4 such financial investments which every self-published author should make to give themselves the best possible shot at success. And those 4 financial investments are as follows. 1. To invest in the building of an author website and a mailing list. 2. To invest in a decent writing tool. 3. To invest in the editing of your book. And 4. To invest in a cover for your book. That is not to say there will not be other opportunities further down the line where it might be prudent to reinvest some of the money you have made in order to build on your success, an obvious investment being targeted advertising or a BookBub ad. However, to begin with at least, the aforementioned 4 investments are where you should be looking to spend your budget. In this particular course, we need only be concerned with the second of the 4 investments, namely to invest in a decent writing tool. Okay, that was me attempting to be as generic and neutral as possible, but I'm sorry, I just can't be. What I really want to do is scream out at the top of my voice, invest in Scrivener! Now I've got that out of my system, let's look at the reasons why Scrivener is such an important investment and why, if you're still using a word processor to write your book, it might be time for an upgrade. I could wax lyrical about Scrivener for hours, and believe me, I have done so. But for the purposes of this video, I will simply say that the reason Scrivener is the second of the 4 key investments every self-published author should make is all down to productivity. Scrivener will save you valuable time in all aspects of your writing, whether that be in researching your book, the building of characters, the setting of scenes, plot outlining, distraction-free writing, meeting word count targets, or the formatting and compiling of your books. And as we all know, time is money. Now, as it happens, this is actually a financial investment that I did make right at the beginning of my career as a writer. I was an early adopter of Scrivener, and at the time my purchasing decision was based purely on price. Back then, Scrivener was a fraction of the cost of its competitors, most of whom no longer exist. And I was quite happy to invest the $45 to help give my writing the kick up the backside it needed. It was certainly more luck than judgment that led me to buy Scrivener, but boy did I get lucky. Unfortunately, although I had made a financial commitment in buying Scrivener, I then made the mistake of not following this up with the necessary time investment to make the most out of it. The result was that I ended up using Scrivener as a fancy word processor for the next few years. Yes, it was still preferable to writing in Word or Pages, but it was only when I decided to get really serious about my writing that I revisited Scrivener and took the time to learn how to use the software effectively. I also invested in a course that showed me how to make the most of Scrivener. And by using the software in the way it was meant to be used, I suddenly found that my entire mindset towards writing changed. It was no longer a case of writing when the moment took me. Suddenly, I was writing regularly, I was writing quickly, and I was writing with purpose. And I have no doubt at all that Scrivener helped play a big part in this transformation. Incredibly, although Scrivener 2.0 is almost unrecognisable from the piece of software I purchased all those years ago, the price has remained the same. $45 is quite frankly a ridiculous price. Personally, I would happily pay 10 times as much for such an important piece of software. The fact is, I have happily paid, and sometimes not so happily paid, 10 times as much and more for the equivalent must-have application in other industries. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank the folks at Literature and Latte for not only creating a wonderful piece of software, but also for pricing it so reasonably. It may come as no surprise that at $45, the second of the 4 investments is also by far the least expensive. And in my opinion, purchasing Scrivener really is a no-brainer. That said, please do not make the same mistake I made all those years ago. Once you have purchased the product, at the very least, spend the time to go through the extensive documentation that comes with Scrivener. And you may also want to seriously consider investing a little bit more in one of the many excellent online courses out there to walk you through how to use the basics of Scrivener effectively. Please note that this course is not a Scrivener training course. This course is primarily concerned with increasing your writing productivity. That said, as my writing tool of choice, Scrivener has obviously played a huge role in increasing my writing productivity, and so it does feature prominently throughout the course. You will learn how I use Scrivener in different ways to increase my writing productivity, but it is important that I point out that I will not be teaching you the basics of Scrivener in this course. And if you are specifically looking for Scrivener training to get you up and running, then I have included my recommended training program in the PDF of links and resources for this section of the course.